Hi, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. These days, it is hard to determine who you can trust, and especially with online activities, whether it's doing business or maybe trying to date or meet people or join communities to connect, especially right now as we're dealing with a global pandemic and so much more with the economies and all the other things that are going on right now. Also being grounded in the sense of not being able to come and go and travel as freely as we'd like. So it can be very, very challenging. Authenticity is the new currency these days, and you got to pay to play. For narcissists, this can be a bit challenging because they rely a lot on their false image, which they've carefully crafted over a long period of time to hide their true self and to be able to manipulate and con and be able to navigate their way through the world and get their needs met at the expense of other people. Here are 7 things that I thought of that narcissists bank on to preserve their false image. Number 1, lies. Narcissists lie a lot. They lie about everything. In fact, if you are dealing with a narcissist or if you have dealt with a narcissist in the past, you know that they lie about everything. The person that you were dealing with wasn't real or isn't real. They lie about their identity, they lie about their backstory, they lie about what's going on with them, they lie about opportunities, they lie about value that they may pretend to offer you. And it can be very difficult, especially when they're dealing with more than one person, say in a work setting or in a group or something like that, or a community. It's hard to be able to detect and determine what's real and what's not because they work very, very hard to keep their true self and to keep the truth in general hidden. The second thing that they rely on or bank on is division. And this could be, as I mentioned, in a workplace, this could be in a community, this could be among a social group or circle or a collaborative group. They rely on division. The narcissist typically places themselves at the nucleus of the group, community, situation, what have you, and then try to control and manipulate the narrative all across the board. And they rely very heavily on controlling the narrative, controlling the conversation, controlling the flow of information, and the different members of the community or group or workplace, what have you, even family, not talking to each other and being able to compare stories, compare notes, and really get to the bottom of what's going on and determining the truth. The other thing that they bank on is silence. Narcissists can be very destructive, they can be very abusive and very manipulative, and they rely in doing that on the silence of their victims, the people that they've been lying to, manipulating, gaslighting, abusing. They rely on them either not talking about the abuse that's taken place to other people or not putting them on blast publicly and exposing them for the abusers that they are. So they rely very heavily on that, or even forgetting about it. Either way, for narcissists in particular, silence is golden so that they can continue with their cycle of abuse. The other thing that narcissists bank on is blind faith. Narcissists do a lot of future faking. They will try to sell you air and they rely on your blind faith in them having something of value to offer you, but also of them being a person of value that has something to offer. If you are blindly faithful in the narcissist's ability to provide whatever they've said that they're going to provide, or to produce whatever they've said they're going to produce, etc., then that really keeps them in the clear and doesn't hold them to any kind of accountability of actually producing and doing what they say they would do. And I think that the biggest way that narcissists capitalize off of blind faith is value. Narcissists oftentimes have little to no value to offer people, and they rely on people not figuring that out and really subscribing to the illusion of them having value. If they can keep you engaged and intrigued and involved in whatever scheme or whatever things they have going on, then that continues to fuel them with that much needed supply. The fifth thing that I thought of that narcissists bank on are scare tactics. They like to threaten, especially with lawsuits. For example, they'll threaten to sue you. They will threaten to take you to court, and they may even threaten to harm you. And narcissists rely quite a bit on keeping you intimidated. I think also when they hide their true self, that in and of itself can be a form of a scare tactic, because you may not know who you're dealing with. Narcissists like to instill fear in you. If they find out some of the things that maybe you're afraid of, then they may bring those things up or use those things to keep you in line and to keep you intimidated, and then they can come in and pretend to be the comforter or pretend to be the good guy or the savior or the helper who is there for you, or who will look out for you, has your back, will protect you. And all along, really the purpose of them bringing up or mentioning or maybe poking and prodding at your fears is to keep you in line and to keep you close to them, again, pretending that they offer something of value in the form of support, encouragement, consolation, and not knowing that you're providing them with supply, making them feel special, making them feel needed, making them feel significant, important, making them feel like maybe they offer something of value, that they are in a greater position than you are because you're drowning in fear. The sixth thing that I thought of that narcissists bank on is a lack of due diligence on your part and a lack of fact-checking. Narcissists create a false image, and if they have worked extra hard to conceal their true identity or to keep certain details about their life or about who they really are hidden, then your lack of due diligence really seals the deal, because then, before you know it, you may be engaged with them and playing their game, being manipulated, gaslit, future faked, and not even know who and what you're dealing with. And for the narcissist, that works out very well because they're able to stay hidden, and when the cycle of abuse is over with because you've discarded them or because they've possibly discarded you, then they're able to, not that it's the best for them because they're missing out on the supply, but they're able to figuratively run off into the sunset relatively undetected because they've withheld key pieces of information that would help you to be able to determine who this person is. And if you did know a lot of times who they really were, you would probably choose not to deal with them. But unfortunately, again, going back to number one, narcissists are very good liars, and they rely heavily on lying. That is where they get a lot of their power in their relationship or their dealings with you. And finally, the seventh thing that I thought of that narcissists bank on are distractions. And this is just classic, where the narcissist will get you focused and fixated on one thing over here, while meanwhile they've got something else going on over here. A lot of times that's when they're getting fuel from you, getting supply from you. They are taking advantage of your kindness and they are manipulating you. They are using you to get their needs met, to get what they want, whether it's money, whether it's opportunities, whether it's boosting their image, boosting their self-esteem with praise and adoration and things of that nature. So a lot of times they'll get you focused on something else so that they can continue to take and take and take from you. Narcissists are some of the most inauthentic people that you will meet, and they are very concerned with preserving their false image. They don't want you to know what's really going on with them and who they really are, because then that would prevent them from being able to get their needs met. And they rely heavily on a lot of tactics and a lot of circumstances to be able to fly under the radar, go undetected, and to be able to get those needs met on a consistent basis. And they have to have that. So if you think about it, they're going to work extra hard to be able to make that happen. More and more, as we continue to persevere through a global pandemic and we continue to have things revealed to us about what's really going on in our society, whether it's politically, socially, different things like that, and more of this toxic behavior from the top down continues to get exposed in our society, narcissists are having a more difficult time operating. You may be invested in Bitcoin, but authenticity is the new currency, and you've got to pay to play. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.